Hi, everybody. I'm Lynn Thomas, and I'm happy to be here with you today to talk about Microsoft's learning tools and Immersive Reader and how it can help you help your students improve their writing. It's been quite some time that I've been using this, and it's quite effective, primarily because the students like using it, but also they tend to, well, I'm sure you're all aware if you teach writing and you ask students to proofread and edit and redo their piece, there's a large majority that really resist doing that and don't enjoy trying to proofread or edit their work. This simplifies the process for them, makes it a little more visual and auditory so that they can do it a little easier, and it comes a little more naturally in that sense so that they can actually improve their writing. So I'm just going to share my screen with you so you can see how this works. And here we go. There we are. So you'll notice that I'm in a OneNote notebook, and basically I have a page here with a sample of writing. And we can pretend that this is a student's writing. So how do I have them improve it with the learning tools? So you'll notice up here in the taskbar is learning tools. If you are working in the OneNote 2016 desktop version, learning tools is a quick add-in. You can just go to Microsoft Learning Tools, and it's like a 2-minute add-in, and then you'll see it appear here in your toolbar. Now, if you are using the online version or the web app, it is automatically there now, so you can find them both, find it in the toolbar. In the online version, you will have to go to View. It may not look like Learning Tools. So when we hit Learning Tools, you'll notice there's Immersive Reader, Dict, and Dictate. So what I'm going to show you first is an Immersive Reader does a couple things that are really cool. One, it takes away all the distractions around the page so that you don't have all the extra stuff going on. It also is great for students because they can adjust their background. I'm going to put this back to white, but some people have a better time looking with a different color background. Notice for students, I can also change the spaces between the letters. So for some students, that just makes it easier to actually interpret and read the letters. And I can also change the size of font. So we're going to make it this size for us right now. So those things are helpful just right off the get-go in helping build accessibility and inclusivity in the classroom. But for our purposes of learning to improve our writing, I go to our little book icon here, and you'll notice that it has all of these. So what this does for me is I can, in my writing class, talk to students about how they need to not only edit or proofread for a few spelling mistakes, but to improve their writing, they want to use interesting words, they want to be specific and descriptive. So one way to do that is to have the students look at, are your verbs vivid? Are your nouns descriptive and specific? So this is an easy way to do it because the students can go to nouns and notice now they are highlighted. So I can have the students zoom in just on specific nouns and say, day's kind of vague. What could we change that to? And then they can think about, what would I change that to? It was a nice day. We could say it was a nice afternoon. We get a little more specificity that way. Down by the stream, that one's not bad. It's specific. Nice bird. Maybe I want to say a blue jay or a specific type of bird. And sounds. Maybe I could be more descriptive about my sounds. You get the idea. So it helps them focus in on those specific words and say, how can we make them more descriptive or specific? I can do the same then with verbs. So are these really vivid verbs? It was a nice day. Well, yeah, the bird sat making nice sounds. Well, the bird, maybe instead of sat, we could talk about roosted or, that kind of thing where it's a little more specific. Chirping instead of making, that kind of thing. The bird came along could change to the bird approached, that kind of thing. So you can see how it suddenly just all makes it more interesting. And then you also avoid where it starts to all sound the same because you're using the same few verbs. Lastly, adjectives. Again, these are what really can help make the piece. And you'll notice in this one, I purposely chose one that was rather bland. This is a good time to have a nice chat about synonyms. What else could we say instead of nice and or bad? And this is where you could, again, have that conversation about synonyms. And again, these are very everyday, common kind of expressions that anymore seem rather vague. And you could really spruce up this whole writing piece by changing those things. It was a beautiful day by the cool stream, making interesting sounds, etc. So the bad bird, why is he bad? You know, that kind of thing. So and it's bad legs and knew it had bad news. So again, we could help our students improve their writing and also improve their vocabulary level by talking about synonyms and what could we replace those words with to make it more interesting. Now, in addition to that, that gives us really good editing and in the sense of trying to improve our writing by adding better vocabulary and style. But another thing we could do, sorry, wrong spot, is also we know that listening a lot of times helps us catch mistakes far sooner than when we just read things over. Our eyes tend to skip what we have already seen. So here in this different piece, it's an annotated bibliography. And again, if we go to the Immersive Reader, I can set my cursor here and I can hit this and it's going to play it and read it to me because our ears, we are set up to hear our mistakes.
The author of this article is not listed, but it has been reviewed by Joseph Goldberg. MD Joseph Goldberg is a clinical professor at Icahn School of Medicine in New York and is the director of the Affective Disorders Research Program at Silver Hill Hospital in Connecticut. This article has lots of information regarding the dissociative identity disorder. The author gives an in-depth analysis on the disorder while maintaining
So you get the idea how that could be quite helpful if there was a lot of mistakes. For example, if we changed this to, oops, sorry, I have to go out of here. If we, had a typo, a couple of typos in here, for example, or if we missed a word altogether. And now if we replayed this, you would notice right away because you hear it and maybe
Goldberg
you wouldn't
is
notice
a clinical professor at Icahn School of Medicine in New York and is the director of the Affective Disorders Research Program at Silver Hill Hospital in Connecticut. This article has lots of information regarding the dissociative identity disorder. The author gives an in-depth analysis on the dirter while maintaining simple.
So right there, I would go dirter. What's a dirter? And I would know, oh, I've misspelled or something's happened. So I would know to go back and correct this typo that I've had. Okay. And so we catch it right away whereas our eyes will gloss over it a lot of the times. So that's a really, really effective method to do some editing and proofreading. In fact, many of my colleagues use this when they're doing report card comments, so that they can re-listen and they hear right away the mistakes that they've made by, missing in or is or something like that, and can quickly go and correct their work. And it's quite effective that way. And the immersive reader is really good for that, and helping students to listen. A third thing that does help improve writing with this is the dictate function. So if you have those students who are maybe not big on writing and they have a hard time getting words on the page, I've found that quite a number of students are really conducive to the idea of using dictate. So with dictate, it will listen to me and it will type the words right for me. I naturally pause when I'm done a sentence, so it will naturally add the period for me. You can see how effective it is. It's really picking up on my words. It's quite quick. And the students really, the first time they use this, get a really big kick out of it, quite frankly. But it can be really great for those students who struggle with getting the words on the page. They can use speech to text and then go back and re-listen to it with Immersive Reader, double check their nouns and adjectives and verbs as we've talked about, and help improve their writing. It makes writing less scary for a lot of students. I'm going to turn my dictate off now. There we go. I just click it and now it's not listening to me anymore. And I can, as I said, go back and double check this for, do I need commas? Because I know it didn't really put my commas in as maybe it should, even though it picked up on my periods. Now, if you have a student who maybe pauses a lot, it will have a lot of extra periods, that kind of thing. So it is not absolutely perfect, but it really goes a long way in helping students who are struggling with trying to put words to the page. So you can see, again, we could listen to this and we could add our commas and go back and say, oh, I misspoke that, or it didn't quite pick up what I was saying. And it's actually really quite good, even with students who maybe don't enunciate as well as they might. It is actually quite intuitive and builds an acuity, I guess, to their speech patterns. So a little bit of AI in the background. So that's really helpful as well. Well, that is what I wanted to show you today. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope that you can certainly, I'm going to stop my screen. There we go. Hi again. So I hope you have enjoyed that and seen how it can be very helpful with your students in their writing program and a lot of other ways too. So and let's all go out there and support our students and help make a accessible and inclusive classroom for them. And Learning Tools is a great way to do that. You can reach out to me on Twitter at TomLynn, ThomLynn 101, and ask me questions if you like. And we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.